The University of Southern California, home of the Trojans, a beacon of higher education, and a death trap for bicyclists. USC's vibrant urban campus to the 10 to 15,000 bicycles owned by students. Accidents ranging from bikes hitting pedestrians, bikes hitting bikes, and cars hitting bikes are normal. Every year, approximately 90% of students are involved in biking accidents or near accidents. The safety hazards created by cars and overcrowding of bicycles, combined with the lack of on campus, creates a difficult environment in which to be a pedestrian or a bicyclist. USC, the Department of Public Safety, and the Los Angeles Police Department have all noticed the increasing hazard which bicyclists are exposed to and which they inflict on others. There is a distinct lack of awareness of biking laws amongst students. A knowledge of basic rules such as stopping at stop signs is there, but more specific regulations such as proper turning technique and what to do in the event that there is no bike lane is not. However, students blatantly do not follow even the most standard rules while bicycling. A general attitude of invincibility towards cars is prevalent, and helmets are rarely worn. Who would want to get hat hair when biking in a dress anyways? DPS and the university have been struggling with policy changes to improve the student transportation situation, but the fact of the matter is that the University Park campus was not built for bicycles. The challenging question is, how can student needs be safely accommodated within an urban fabric dominated by cars and full of old infrastructure? People are getting hurt because of the clash between bicycles and traffic.
I got hit by a car at 29th and Orchard. I was riding west on 29th Street and she was pulling out of a parking garage and kind of slowed down, so I was like, oh, she's letting me go. Like, I was totally invisible. And then she hit me, ran over me and my bike, and then hit two cars and then stopped. And I had to go to the hospital and I had $20,000 in medical bills. My bike got totaled. I went to DPS to get it back. I think that people don't necessarily expect bikes to be coming, and that's the kind of thing where I would be riding with bikes every day when I went to class. So obviously people do bike down that street, but I think people forget sometimes that there are people biking in the street. And like at that intersection, there's no dip in the sidewalk, like kind of just, there's a curb and then another curb, so you can't ride on the sidewalk. So I think that having a bike lane would make it like more apparent that there would be bikes on that street.
Biking is a sustainable and healthy transportation method, and the flat terrain of USC is perfect for such an option, but historical development is not accommodating. Some bike planning techniques that have worked in other cities and college campuses include designated bike paths, bike parking stations, and bike safety awareness classes. Unfortunately, due to USC's great downtown location, adding in bike paths, such as at the University of California, Santa Barbara or the University of California, Davis, are not feasible. Altering the way existing streets and pedestrian boulevards are laid out is an option, though. For example, the handicap-accessible ramps along University Avenue, a main artery for students living in North University Park coming to campus, could be widened so that students and bicyclists do not have to be funneled into such a compact space. This alleviation of pressure could drastically reduce accidents and improve student welfare. Reorganizing Truesdale Parkway to function more like a road than a sidewalk would also be effective. Narrowing the central green space and forcing foot and bike traffic to travel on the right-hand side of the road, just like cars, would help decrease the number of head-on collisions. Painting in lines to designate an inner bike lane and external walking lane, or physically building them with reflective road markers, would separate bicyclists from pedestrians, further decreasing the opportunity for pedestrian-bicycle collisions. In addition to restructuring Truesdale Parkway to be more pedestrian and bicycle friendly, limiting bicycles to only Truesdale, McClintock, and 34th Street would take bicycles off all of the small internal roads while still granting bicycle riders full access to campus. A bevy of new bike racks would have to accompany this strategy, though. Recent tactics implemented to improve bike safety have largely consisted of DPS and LAPD increasing monitoring of key heavily trafficked intersections and ticketing law-breaking students. Between the start of school in October, there were two major bicycle traffic enforcement days. 120 citations were issued on September 18th alone.
I was in the bike lane on Hoover where it tees at Jefferson. There was a green light for the turn, so I considered a bicycle just as capable of making that turn on a green arrow as a car and took it, and then a DPS officer stopped me when I got onto campus and sent me over to LAPD and claimed I jaywalked. Did argue to the point where he called over the DPS officer and they sent me to Student Judicial Affairs. It would have been about $312.
LAPD has continued to hold traffic enforcement days sporadically. These occasional shows of force have put students into a more cautious biking mindset, yet the inconsistency of patrols negates their significance. Random mass impoundments of student bicycles that are not locked to a rack have had similar success to LAPD's ticketing. Students are still parking their bikes in the most convenient location relative to their destination, regardless of whether or not a bike rack is present. DPS has enough bike racks on campus to accommodate all, but they are not concentrated in the same way students are. Webb Tower and the Lion Center share about a dozen bike racks, yet hundreds of students live in Webb Tower and hundreds use the gym every day. 12 or so bike racks is not sufficient. DPS has stopped impounding bicycles because it lacks the resources and storage space to do so, but ignoring the problem until later is not a solution. Even though bike racks are ugly, a central reason for their lack of presence in the master plan, they are necessary given the nature and quantity of bicyclists at USC. More bike racks in highly congested areas is a simple solution to the parking problem. Another potential solution to the problem of enforcement of bike rules by LAPD and DPS, other than random ticketing, is enabling the event support staff who monitor the streets of North University Park to play a more active role in encouraging bike safety, or publishing more flyers about biking laws and etiquette. Earlier this year, DPS handed out flyers that clearly stated bike rules, but a second batch is due. The main reasons bicyclists get in accidents, according to the DPS website, is students biking on the wrong side of the street, cars making dangerous turns, students biking across driveways, as Rachel testified to earlier, students bicycling dangerously, and a lack of visibility of bikers. Educating students on how to avoid these circumstances would towards improving the transportation environment of USC. Unfortunately, as much as biking is a current problem, plans to resolve it in the future are not happening on the scale at which they should. The USC Master Plan, a large-scale revamping of the university and its surrounding properties, is not trying hard enough to change the way bikes are used in everyday life. The newest buildings on campus do not have bike racks and have not incorporated students' personal transit at all into their designs. For example, there is only one bike rack at the new cinema school building, but plenty of signage warning students to keep their bikes away. No bike racks in the original designs for the new Viterbi Commons, a facility which will surely become the heart of campus and student life, whether by foot or bicycle. The prospect of banning bikes from campus is not being explored as an option, but administrators and officers of the law are all stumped on how to resolve. If USC, in conjunction with DPS, LAPD, and Los Angeles County reorganized existing infrastructure and thoroughfares into bike lanes, installed more signs notifying cars, pedestrians, and bicyclists of traffic laws, built more bike racks, and had a bike awareness education campaign, the bicycle problem could be helped. These suggestions are not solutions in and of themselves, but they are a strong start to creating a complete resolution to the bicycle problem in the future.